Welcome back and happy new year. It is a whole new cycle. What is it called? A whole new rotation. No, that's a day. And we're back on Off the Rack Rebellion, the podcast where we talk about costuming and how to take everyday finds and incorporate them into your everyday cosplay. Kate, happy new year. How you doing?
Yes. Hi, Billy. Happy New Year. Can you hear me okay? I'm having mic issues this morning.
Yeah. You're good.
Good. Oh, good. Good. We're like you said, shaking off the
Yeah.
cobwebs, getting back at it. We had a nice long break. So,
Yeah, that was good. It might not
yeah.
have felt
Yeah.
like
How
it
was your
because
holidays?
it was good, yeah. To the listeners, it might not have felt like such a
Yeah.
long break, but for us, it was kind of quite a long break.
Was it?
So
Yeah. It was a while,
yeah,
I know, for sure. Like,
so
and
we got
we've
to get
had a
back to
lot
this.
going on in the Star Wars world.
Yeah. So how were your holidays? How'd you spend
They
your
were
little break? You were
good.
busy.
Really relaxing. Yeah, well, we stay home, which is I highly recommend. We stay
Yeah,
home, and then I was
same.
just like, "You know what? I'm cranking out a few." I was involved in, like, a Disney-bound fundraiser, so I was like, "I'm gonna crank out some final projects for the year," and that was really, really rewarding and fun. Yeah, so that was really nice, and of course, we've just been enjoying Skeleton Crew as it's been coming out
Oh,
and,
so
having a TV night, like, "Oh, we gotta get on the couch," like, "We gotta watch." So that's been
it's been
super fun.
so good. It's delivered so much
Yeah,
more than I ever even anticipated, and I had high hopes for it, but it's so good.
right. Right, yeah, I when it was first announced, when they were kinda, like, telling us all about these new shows, I was like, the Acolyte was really the one, and I think maybe a lot of other people were in that same boat of like, "Oh, a show about Jedi." It was really what grabbed my attention. I was like, "Oh, okay,
Mhm.
this thing called Skeleton Crew. Okay, cool. Don't know much about it." And then I think it's like really just blown everybody out of the water. Like,
Yeah.
this is really enjoyable. This is really well done. Like the sets, the script. I think the kids are phenomenal. Like
Yeah, they
they're
just hit
just,
every right
you know,
mark, I think.
I yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been great. And the costuming.
Well, yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today, right? Since Skeleton Crew is wrapping up, we thought we'd take a look at,
Exactly.
some of the costumes. Not a big sort of show where things change a lot. I think it's kind of a
Mhm.
for lack of a better term, and in a giant galaxy like the Star Wars universe, it is kind of a bottle
Mhm.
show in that the people don't really move around that much. We're kind of on the ship, so well, I mean, I guess they do, but like, there's no changes of clothes. There's no real
Mhm.
like the big changes and things like that. So everyone's kind of
Yeah,
stuck in what they're wearing, but there are a number of characters. So
mhm,
wanted to sort of take a look at what what we've seen. What are some of the standouts
definitely.
for you?
Oh my gosh, very first off the bat is, Jude Law's character, it's Jod, right? Like, it's like his
Jod,
name is,
yeah.
like, so close to his real name,
Jod.
but his
His name is
his, like,
Jod Law.
helmet
No, I'm just
mask thing,
oh,
like
yeah.
I know. Who decided that? Um, but yeah, that helmet mask thing is so cool looking. I was really taken by that, which is funny because I'm not a person that often gravitates towards, like, the masks, like, I don't use them in my
Right.
cosplay or anything like that, but that I was just like, "This is a really cool piece." I
It's
like that
definitely
a lot.
unique, and
And
I
there's
love
definitely
that it's
different
a
pieces, like, I like
tri-corner kinda thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like all the nods to, like Treasure Island and things like that we're
Yeah.
seeing, like these little Easter eggs that are like they're kinda like really in plain sight, right?
Yeah.
Like but like that was one of them. I was like, "Oh, it's very piratey." I mean, I love pirates, so it's really a nice meshing of these 2 worlds for me.
Yeah.
So I thought that that was really fun. And then did we mention at all, you and I, or have I been talking to somebody else about like everything that we saw, like that first pirate outpost that they like went to when they're like,
Mhm.
whoa, no one's heard of Adan, right? All the vibes there. It's
Oh,
just like, "Wait, wait, can we see more of this, little hive of scum and
yeah.
villainy, please?" Because, like, all of that.
I'm
Just
gonna go
loving
back
it.
and I think I'm gonna comb through that episode, and
Yes.
maybe we'll do something else and really just focus on that, of Borgo.
Mhm.
What's it called? Yeah, Port Borgo,
Yeah.
and
Port
really
Borgo,
focus
yeah.
in on that because there's so many little tiny little things that just blink if you'll blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. In a show that's like in a show that where the characters kind of stay in their own costumes for the majority of it, I think that's where they really kind of spent
Mhm.
the budget on costuming, and we're like, well, we
Yeah.
get to we get to go all out here for this episode because everyone else is just wearing the
Yeah, is
same
that funny?
jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the background characters.
yeah,
Yep, yep. All the background characters are what we're really like, "Oh, wow, look at that, look at that." We're like, "Okay, alright." The kids have been which, I mean, the kids, were really well costumed themselves as well. Like,
yeah.
Fern's jacket, somebody mentioned to me that they think that it's like she reverses it, right?
It
Like, is
is.
that what
Yeah,
she's
it is.
doing in the
It's
very
inside
first
out. Yeah.
couple episodes when she it's like her school jacket, and it's, like, flipped
Hmm.
inside out, which is genius. Like, I was just like,
Yeah,
"This
and it
is
kind of looks
awesome."
like a
I think
bomber
Beth
jacket.
is
She's done her
working on
own.
one, actually,
Yeah,
Sniff
she's done
Savers.
her own patches.
Mhm.
And it's inside out, so it kind of
Yep.
looks like a bomber
Yeah.
jacket um because the collar is a lighter color than the
Yeah,
brown, so it kind of looks like
yeah,
a leather
yeah.
bomber jacket, which is really cool. Yeah. And she's
Yes,
made her own patches,
yes,
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's a fantastic jacket, and I really actually love I mean, everyone's in love with Neil, I get it, I love him too. I also just love the simplicity of, like, he's wearing these little overalls, like,
Yeah.
which is so, like, 80s feeling. I don't know about you, but I grew up in,
Yeah,
like, corduroy overalls as, like, a little kid in the
absolutely.
80s. So I was very much like, "Oh, I feel that. I feel that real hard."
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
kids themselves are great looks for sure.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, I
I
think that
oh, I
okay.
slide from liking one
Yeah, sorry.
character to the other, to the other, to the other, and it's like, I think I don't really have a favorite. I like them as a group, and I think they're really great, and they really play off of each other.
Mhm.
Fern, I think, is great. I
Yeah.
just love, like, the
Yes.
courageousness of her, and I love, like, that it's something that can be aspirational. Someone that sort of looks at something really scary and kind of steps up and takes charge, I think is a really great kind of message to send as well, especially
Yeah.
to little girls, you know? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I think because 'cause we've got 1 episode left, it's about to drop. I think we're gonna see that she really steps up and is, like, because like, there was a little tiff, right, about, like, "Well, we don't always have to do you always expect that
Yeah.
everyone, can do what you do or whatever," and I think she will step up in a good way for sure.
Yeah.
She's so precious. I just love her. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
very, very
warmed to
good.
her
So,
immediately.
what other looks have stood out to you? Like, what there's so much yeah. Oh,
I was
yeah,
looking
absolutely.
at
As soon as
the
I was like, "Oh, she seems like a very familiar character."
Yeah, I was looking at the parents, and they're very sort of 70s,
Mhm.
and I was also looking at, I
Yeah.
forget the name of the concept artist that was used for not only the kids' uniforms, but also the parents' looks, and it's all very, very, like, 70s inspired, which I just thought, like,
Mhm,
felt appropriate for the vibe, appropriate for, like, those,
mhm,
like,
mhm.
original trilogy kind of feelings that
Yeah.
this show conjures up, you know? Big wide lapels, big
Yes.
collars, like, the colors that are sort of, sort of mustards and these sort of earth tones and even in the set design, like, I've got pictured
Mhm.
here the parents sitting in like a what looks like a conversation pit. It's not really a conversation pit, but like that
Yeah.
was like huge in the 70s and
Yeah.
80s, like, or maybe even before, yeah,
Mhm,
the
mhm.
60s and whatnot. But
Yes.
yeah, so that's what I was getting from them, and I
Yes.
really liked it. It kind of plays off with they're kind of stuck in a time as well. We don't fully know why
Yeah.
yet in the show, as by the time you guys will hear
Mhm.
this, maybe you'll know more. But yeah, it
Yeah.
fits. Yeah, fits the story.
It does. Yeah, I loved Wim's dad's look with, like, that very actually, I'm wearing a vintage '70s dress right now.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I did that on purpose. Shout out to Liam T-Face Cowboy, found this on Etsy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think you
It
posted a
was like,
picture of it. Yeah,
"Hey,
that's kind
you
of
should get
amazing.
this." And I was like, "Yes, I should."
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I did, yeah. So Wim's dad's color just being very kind of very tall and, like, buttoned up and just yeah, it's just
Mhm,
very crisp. It tells and Fern's mom's look. I love
mhm,
that long robe with, like, the slits for, like, the arms to come
mhm,
through. It's very reminiscent of those '60s, '70s,
mhm,
back when cloaks and capes were a thing in the '60s and '70s, right? Like, I've
mhm.
got a couple vintage ones, and that's what they don't have sleeves, it's just, like, little slits in the
Yeah,
for little armholes, it's very reminiscent of that, and you're right, I think it helps jog our memory to that original Star Wars, just Star Wars,
yeah.
right? Because they did have a bit of a '70s even though they were trying to make it look futuristic, it was that '70s mod
Oh, yeah.
style, and I love that, it's so fun. Um, yeah, it's just and they don't they don't jump off the screen at you and, like, slap you in the face or something, right? It's
Right.
subtle. I think everything that they've done, the music, the scenery, kind of the progression of the story, there's some subtlety to it, which I think it's all blending so well together, and especially the costuming for me. So, I like
Yeah,
it.
I think it's all been very well considered, and I just think it's like it's it's it's
Mhm.
all melding so well, and even the 2 sort of, more disparate
Yeah.
parts, like all of the pirate stuff versus all of the Atten stuff, like, they're very different from each other, but it's all
Yeah.
so considered that it all
Mhm.
it fits, and it's that kind of thing where, this is
Yeah.
conjuring that sort of Amblin era of like films, your ETs and your Goonies and whatnot, and it all sort of felt that way as well.
Yeah.
There's a real magic that's
Yeah.
happening, I think, in this show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so fun. Let's talk about let's talk about the spot because we both had said,
Okay.
yeah, behind the scenes that like
Yeah. Well,
this
I
picture
think
of when they're in disguise at the spa just cracked me up as soon as I saw it.
I just loved it because it was something that Jod obviously had to throw together, and I was like, "How perfect is this?" Because what else do we do but like look into our closets and throw stuff
Yeah.
together to try to make like denizens, and look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Actually, I was laughing because I was like, somebody needs to do this for Star Wars Celebration. Like, someone needs to, like, put this, like,
Yes.
look together of these, like with, like, the long robes and the, like and it's, like,
That sort of
classic
lay, those little
it's almost
poof, like,
classic cartoon.
fl
You know what
flower
I
ba
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's totally classic cartoon of, like, we have to go in disguise. Okay, we're gonna put on these, like, these hoods, these robes, these, like, no one will know we're kids. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I love also
And
that
I also love
the
the colors, I have
the
to say.
the
There's,
hotel
like, a
clerk or
little
whatever it is,
that
the
gorgeous
spa
green.
yeah, the spa, sort of desk clerk, just
Yeah.
completely doesn't buy it, and it's like, "Alright, so where are you going with those kids?" Like, it's not fooling anyone for a second, and I think that makes it
Yeah, yeah.
funnier because it's like
Totally.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Oh, I loved it. It was a good episode too. I had a l That was a lot of fun.
yeah.
So, yeah, and then the vibe of, like, them I feel like them going to these different right, like we mentioned, like, Ad and very stuck in the '70s, and then, like, the texture of the pirate enclave, and then,
Mhm,
like, this opulence that you are seeing in the background of the spa was
mhm.
just such a cool progression, and just, like, from their point of view being like, "Wow, look at all this stuff." Like, when they go into that room and they're, like, jumping on the bed and everything, and they're like
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's what it's like when you go to a fancy hotel with kids. Oh my
I think
gosh."
yeah, it was such a great moment too because
Oh,
they
it
had
was
just
just so well
gone
done.
through such like horrible things before then, so it was wonderful to see them be kids for a second before they had to like go right back into
Yeah,
like the mission.
yeah.
I think it's really important to kind of
Yes.
allow these like kids to be kids and not just these, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
these kind of like heroes. Great that they're heroic, but I think good to be reminded that they're kids. And something like jumping on a bed, I think is just that's I mean, that's all of us, right? At
Yeah.
some point.
Totally. Totally. I was wondering, like, what it was like for the actors when the director was like, "Okay, get on the bed, jump, go for it." Like, they were like, "Oh, yeah, we can do that." I'm sure, like oh, man, yeah, it was so good. Um,
Yeah.
is there
Oh, and
anything else?
just a
What else
shout
is
out to
jumping
John
out?
Rodriguez for being in
Oh,
Skeleton Crew,
yeah!
our very own one of our dads.
I know. Yeah, "Can I have your
Being
autograph?"
in
Oh my gosh, yeah,
yeah,
that was
being
so
in
cool to be like, "Wow."
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah,
only ever really talked
I
to
still haven't
him
found him.
online. Wait, oh, you haven't?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen a screenshot, but I haven't, in the episode,
Oh.
I was like, the episode ended, I was like, "Oh my god, I completely didn't even, I was, so watching, I'm like, I have to go back and, go slow and, see it."
Well,
So,
there's one episode, I don't know if you're behind, but there's one episode where he's, like, front and center at the open of the episode, like, um,
I'm
are you all caught
sure,
up?
yeah, I'm sure I was just, completely, watching it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we are, yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I haven't gone through and been like, "Oh, that's him," I've been, watching the
Oh,
show,
right,
and then
right,
I was
right,
like,
right.
"Oh, yeah." Yeah, so I need to, look at the picture and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's him." Yeah. I haven't, pointed him
Yeah.
out, "Oh, that's I get it." Sorry,
Yeah, that's so amazing. Yeah.
John
That's incredible.
Calamari. Yes.
John Calamari. That's his new
Yeah.
that's his new handle. Yeah. That's great. So, what do you think about the pirates?
Love
Like,
it.
we've seen a lot of them, but, like, I'm loving the costumes. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I am too, I am too. There's a lot of leather going on, there's a lot of belts going on, there's really great, dark earth tones. I mean, it's
Yeah.
everything I love, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I wanna see more of these cosplays for sure.
I'd really wanna see what they look like on set because they had 3 of them, and I think it might have been at San Diego Comic-Con or D23 or one of those, late in the year, cons last year, and they showed a couple of the costumes, and they're actually kind of colorful. They're all obviously very, very like
Oh,
dulled down, but there's blues
muted,
in
yeah.
theirs, and there's kind of purples in there, and there's kind of everything, but everything is very,
Nice.
very weathered and muted. So
Okay.
I'm sure that once it's gone through the filter of like of film grading and everything,
Yeah.
it all sort of reads as brown, but
Mhm.
it's those,
Mhm.
like, those different tones that make all of those different browns kind of
Yeah.
pop. Because if you just wear all brown,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's just gonna look
It's
like a
just flat.
silhouette.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not gonna have all those, like,
Yeah.
different textures pop in and everything, so very cool that they do that, and very cool that, like, that's a good way to think about,
Yeah.
building a costume as well.
Whose job is that in the film? Because I wanna talk to them.
Well, the
I want to learn your
designer,
ways,
yeah,
right? I mean, you must have to work with whoever's deciding kind of the lighting in the scene and whoever's deciding,
right.
it must be a very complex process.
Oh, I'm sure,
Someone
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have to look into this, how do they decide? I yeah, but it's gorgeous, the palette that they've chosen is I love it. It's so good.
Yeah,
So,
so I love when a show comes out and then you just there's like a ripple through the community of like, "Okay, everyone, let's now build pirates."
yes. I'm not opposed to that.
Because
Space
yeah,
pirates,
because
yes.
when Acolyte was out, everyone was like, "Oh, I wanna build my own Jedi, I wanna
Yeah,
do
yeah.
a Jedi," and I just love, like, the enthusiasm through the
Mhm.
community and the ripple that is
Yeah,
felt when something
yeah.
like this happens, yeah,
Totally. Well, in Space
and
Pirates because I feel like Mandos have always been a big thing, but I feel like after, right, the Mandalorian
yeah,
seasons, Mando's definitely exploded on the scene, and I feel like space pirates are very attainable, especially because there's
yeah.
so many of them in the background. lot less armor. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I feel like for the average person, if you're just looking to get into, like, a Star Wars look, this is a super easy intro. Like, I mean, like, a beat up leather jacket, take the zippers off of it, right? Like,
Mhm.
2 or 3 belts, a linen shirt, right? Like, you could make these
I even think
looks.
it's yeah, it's easier because you don't have to crop anything. There's, like, all the silhouettes are much
Yeah. I
longer.
like the long
Um,
silhouettes, they're fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
totally.
and I've been looking at a lot of, like, partisans as I am making decisions to build, like, this partisan, and they're also have, like, longer lines and billowier pants. You know, it's not just,
Ooh,
so
I do love a
form-fitting and
billowy
cropped.
pants. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right? Little
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
variety. Mhm, I
And,
love it.
wait, wha oh, the thing that going back to that photo of the kids,
Yeah,
in
in
disguise, I say
disguise.
that in quotes because it's like, "Okay, okay, children." Um,
In the bathrobes.
what I noticed about that, which is I think is you know, I think it's the coat that he found, the coat that Jod found on the ship. Um, it is a, a wide lapel sort of
Mhm.
trench coat, right? Pretty
Yes.
easily findable. What I did notice on it, which I thought was like, "Oh, yes, those little details, I love that," is that they've removed the buttons and put hooks on them so that they hook
Oh,
into the hole,
into the
which is a bit
hole.
more yeah, which is a bit more of like sort of, old-timey pirate look anyway. There were
Yeah,
hooks
yeah, like a
on their
toggle,
coat.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they
Oh,
did that for that coat. They could have very easily just kind of let it slide, but they
uh-huh,
didn't, and I was
but
like,
they
"Did they?"
didn't.
Because I saw the buttonholes and I was like, "Did they?" Because okay, let's do it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But then I noticed they were hooks, and I was like, "Oh, no, that makes sense because it just feels
This is making
more
a nice
like
look.
era, feels more like a pirate,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
but I thought was really cool. But yeah, just things like that. I think it's, I don't wanna say easy because I do think that, like, there's a lot of weathering that goes into a pirate look.
yeah.
It's the kinda thing where it's like, if you're trying to wear that coat out on a Sunday to brunch and also include it as your cosplay, I don't think it's gonna read like, I think you gotta dirty it up. These people are
Yeah,
not
yeah,
clean.
yeah, you're gonna
Yeah,
have to dirty it up. Yeah, yeah, age it,
yeah.
especially because like, this ship had been parked for God knows how long, right? And
That
they were
too,
like
yeah.
yeah, for sure. If we look in that one screenshot, just, to his left or our right, I don't know which kid is in which incognito, I
Oh,
don't
yeah, I
remember.
don't remember.
The hat! Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
like, I'm always complaining about I want more hats in Star Wars,
Oh, that hat is
and this
great. Yeah.
it's like leather, and
Mhm.
it has a tricorn feel, but flattened almost, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's
And
definitely
it's like
has
one
some
of the
pieces
sides is
tucked
up,
up.
is it, or no?
It looks like kind of both. Oh, maybe just yeah, maybe just a front edge. I'll have to look at some other
Yeah.
screenshots, but I'm
That
always
was also
excited.
on the ship, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
I think
always
that's,
excited when I see more
I'm
hats,
blanking
like,
on his name, but that was also, oh, Raimi's like, I'm already working on a Nikto pirate as we
I
speak."
need a
I
pirate,
mean, I'm
yes. Of course you are.
dying to get a hold of, like, an alien mask. They're so expensive, the
Oh, I
waits are
bet. I know.
so far. But
Right.
also, like, I kind of I'm afraid of what that feels like on. Like, I can do a helmet,
Oh,
like, I've
yeah.
got plenty
Yeah.
of helmets, but I don't know what, like, a silicone mask
Oh,
feels like.
yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have to, like, I'm putting this out there into the universe. If anyone wants to just let me try one on because I
Yeah.
don't wanna spend, like I don't wanna spend
Totally.
500 to $1,000 on a mask and then just be overwhelmed with it on.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's true. No,
Yeah,
that's a good
so
point. I always wonder about that because even with my Mando helmet that's coming, I am a little worried about even that. I'm like, "Oh god,
yeah,
am I gonna feel, like, just totally, like, locked in here?" I'm not claustrophobic, but I might become so.
okay.
But yeah, a mask even more. Um, okay, yeah, Raimi has some tips. Silicone is so
Yeah.
much nicer to wear over latex. Good to
Yeah, I'm
know.
hoping that, I'll be in California. Yeah, so it's going, I bet. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
in the Los Angeles area, in March,
Oh, nice.
and, I guess I'll have to break the news to you, Kate. Here,
Yes.
I won't be able to make it to Emerald City Comic Con.
I guessed, but, it's not a far flight from I'm just gonna say. From
No,
California, we're
I'll
not
be up
far.
and back already. I'll be up and back
Alright,
already,
alright.
and it's like, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
Um, yes, let's do it, but, can you get down to LA for March? I mean, let's do something.
I'll see, yeah, let's talk. Let
Um,
give me some dates.
yeah.
So, we'll chat.
So I'm hoping some of our friends will be there with,
Mhm.
alien masks, and I can just kinda slip one on for, like,
Like,
literally for 30
Sean, who has
seconds.
1,000,000.
Yeah. So I could, like, just slip one on for, like, literally 15 to 20 seconds just so that I could,
Yeah,
"Okay, this is gonna be
yeah,
way too
this is the
much for
feeling.
me to handle." I don't wanna be, like,
Yeah.
feel like I'm suffocating,
Mhm.
but, if it doesn't feel that way, then I'm starting to save up.
Yeah, good, oh my god. Oh,
I
yeah,
wanna
I
mo I wanna, um there there's been, like, circulating
you're
photos
wait
of Aftab, which is, General Akbar's son,
oh,
who was in
yeah.
Rise of Skywalker, and he's got, like,
Yep.
a really grumpy face, and I'm like, "That's it. That's the
Yeah.
one. That's the face I want. That's the one."
That's your alien.
Exactly, because 'cause I'm always like, "Oh, do I want this? Do I want that? I don't know what I want." Like, I want something that's got, like, and I was like, "No, no, no. That's it. That's the one."
Yeah. Yeah.
I want a grump face, and I wanna make him into, like, my merchant. Like, that's what I really want my merchant
Oh
to be an
my
alien.
gosh,
Yeah,
yes. Okay, okay.
yeah.
Oh, this is
But we'll
awesome.
see, we'll see
Okay.
how it goes. We got sidetracked, but yeah,
I know, sorry.
the
Aliens,
hat.
and we just went crazy.
The hat is amazing. We do need
The
more
hat
hats.
is amazing. I'm gonna have to, like, just scour over screenshots of that because I gotta figure out how to get a hat like that. Because 'Cause I'm always complaining that, like, we need more hats in Star
Yeah.
Wars, but,
There's
you know.
definitely that hat, is depicted more than once. I
Yeah.
think they see it
Yeah.
really early on when they're first,
Mhm.
exploring the ship,
Yeah.
and I think maybe Jod takes a look at it when he's getting the coat. I think he kind of, like,
Yeah.
moves it off to the side, and then it shows up here again.
Yep.
So there's a good opportunity to get some
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
looks at it.
How many times have you watched episodes? Because 'Cause I've only watched everything once so far, and I'm like, "I
I
need to go
watched
back."
I am dying to rewatch it
Yeah, me
already, but I
too. Yeah.
watched, the first 3 episodes,
Mhm.
and then I rewatched the first 3
Ah,
episodes,
smart.
and then but it's just because, like, I had the opportunity. I've been watching them on my phone as I'm
Okay.
working,
Oh, nice.
so I just wanna watch them on the big screen, so that's what I
Yeah.
did with the first 3.
Okay.
Um, it's a little too inside baseball, but my wife had her best friend over, so they had sort of a
Nice.
girl night in the living room, so I sequestered myself in the in
Cranked
the
up
in the
the Star
bedroom,
Wars.
and I watched the first 3 episodes, and I think the next time that happens, I'll rewatch it again. I mean, this
Yes.
show is just so watchable. I can't sing
Yeah.
its praises. Love
Yeah.
it. I, like,
Yeah.
love it, love it, love
Same,
it. Yeah,
same. It's so fun.
yeah,
It's so enjoyable. I know some folks have been chatting about, like, I know Beth was letting her kid watch it, and a couple other people were like, "Yeah,
yeah,
I'm getting my kid to watch it," and we were like, "Let's just watch the whole thing," because our older one is a teenager and has nothing really to do with Star Wars right now,
right.
just because he's on his own
Uh,
stuff, but
they're in
y
the dark
yeah,
ages.
yeah, where it's like, "I don't know, that's mom's thing, right? I don't know." But, the little guy, we were definitely thinking about trying to get him to watch it. Like, we're gonna watch it first and just make sure that it's
Right,
all because he like, the older one always had a really good sense of being able to separate reality from fiction and what you
right.
see on the screen from life, and the younger one, not so much. And
Yeah,
so I've just been like, "Let's just see." And so, as soon as this is done, like, we were talking about at dinner, I'm like, "As soon as this is done, if it stays this course," which I think it is, because 'cause we've had a little
yeah,
violence, but it's been more implied, right? And it's
yeah,
been off the screen and things like that. I'm ready to dive right back in. I told my husband, I'm like, "So as soon as this wraps, like, if it's good to go, I say we tell him that, 'Hey, this is a new show, it's on now,' like, and we'll set a night where we watch it."
yeah.
Because he's really into droids and ships. That's what he wants out of Star Wars, and I
Ooh,
think that this is it, right?
yeah.
Droids and
Yeah,
ships.
I
So,
think I think the
yeah.
good thing that they did with the show is that it does start off kind of violent, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
first, like, 4 or 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
entire series, So if
Yep.
you start it at that 5-minute mark and let it
Mhm.
run from there, it might be all
Yeah,
good.
that's what we were
There's a big
thinking.
monster, there's a actually
Yeah.
2 big monsters.
Yeah. He
Um,
heard us talking about one
yeah,
of them, and he kept asking, like, the big, like, hermit crab thing,
yeah,
and he
that could
heard
be
us talking.
scary, I think.
Well, and he was like, "Wait, what? What is
Oh,
it?" And so we were kinda trying to explain it, and he's like, "Oh, well, what does it look like?" And I was like I didn't wanna bring up a spoiler, so I was just trying to
yeah,
describe it. I'm like, "Just imagine, like, this giant crab," and so but I
yeah.
was like, "It has all these little minions and everything,"
Well, it's
and
kinda like, what is it, Moana? No.
yeah,
What with the big giant fancy crab with all the
is that
oh,
Moana?
which one is that one? I think it is Moana.
I think I can't remember. I've seen Moana once. I know I should see it more than
Okay.
that. It's a good movie, but it might be.
There's a
Been a
big
while.
crab, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's kind of like" I forget the name of the crab, but, like,
Mhm.
"That's kind of like blah, blah, blah
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
Moana," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it does
Yeah.
kind of look like it."
Yeah, yeah.
But much scarier, I think,
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, especially when it,
round.
like, came up and you didn't know, but anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why so I'm definitely already like, okay, like, right as soon as this is done, I'm ready to just launch back into watching it again. So,
yeah.
catch some extra stuff.
Yeah, I think this is
Um,
definitely gonna be, like have, like, that rewatch ability, you know?
yeah, yeah, I think
Like, it's
so.
light enough to have on in the like, once you've
Mhm.
watched it a few times and
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
every detail, it's, like, light enough to just have on in the background and,
Yeah.
like, sort of wholesome, you know?
Yeah, yeah, cozy, yeah, absolutely, I love
Cozy,
it,
yeah.
so, yes. It's definitely a good one for, like, watching on my tablet too so I can screenshot, you know? Go,
Yes.
"Wait, what was that?" Yeah, for sure, I need to get on it, so, yeah, they're really enjoying it, and I couldn't wait, like, every episode I was watching, I was like, "I gotta talk to Billy about this."
I know, I know,
I
but
gotta
it
talk
it
about
sort
this.
of hit at such a weird time too, right? Because people get real
It
busy
did,
end
yeah.
of
Yeah,
November into
yeah,
December, like, that's a really busy time, I think, for
yeah.
people with families and
Definitely,
everything.
yeah. There were a couple times where we couldn't watch, like, 1, so we would, wait till the next week and, like, watch
Yeah,
2, and so I had to tell a few friends, like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't watched this week," and one of my
right.
friends, The Lights of Adventure, I don't know if you follow her, she's
Oh,
fantastic. So she has a pirate account, gorgeous photography.
okay.
Yeah, she's a sweetie, and so, because she's really stoked that there's Star Wars with pirates, and so she's like, "Okay, have you seen this week's episode?" I'm like, "Not yet, I'm gonna watch it tonight." "Okay, go watch it." So it's been
Yeah,
nice to catch up with her. So yeah, yeah, please follow The Lights of Adventure.
yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous vibe on her
That was
account.
definitely one of the things I was looking forward to when we did, because we did do I think you were off, I think you were away, and we did, an episode of just the trailer
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew, and, and we that was one of the things that I said, I was like, "I'm so looking forward to seeing more of, like, that sort of pirate life
Yeah. Yeah.
in Star Wars, because 'cause we've
Yeah.
seen little glimpses of it, like, we saw a
Mhm.
bit in Mando season 3,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, obviously, all of the Hondo stuff through Clone Wars all the way through Rebels, like, you get to see a little bit of the pirate stuff, so they're always
Yeah.
around, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but
I
this
mean,
you
Han
really
Solo
get to
deals with
explore.
him, right? Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like we just finished reading Heir to the Empire in
yeah,
our book club, and that's one of the things is he's going off trying to contact smuggling groups that he knows
oh,
to
yeah,
help out with a task, right? And so, yeah, it's very much always in the underlying theme of Star Wars is
yeah,
these smugglers, these pirates, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
um,
great.
yeah. Yeah, it's been super fun, so, yeah, I'm excited for this last episode, so
I know, I don't want it to end, really.
I know, I know, but and what's
Okay.
after this? I mean, what's their plan? I know that there's a whole bunch of, like, shows and movies and things, and I've lost track of what's coming out next,
I
right?
think
Like,
it's
what
Andor in
Oh,
April.
yes, of course, that's our next thing. Oh my
Yeah, I think
god.
it's Andor in April.
Which
And
we will be
speaking of
talking
next
about
thing
soon. Like, now.
speaking of next thing,
Speaking of next thing, the thing that drives us,
yeah,
Ferrex, we'll be
I
talking about
know.
next episode.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We're
Yes,
gonna take a look at the, trailer or sizzle. It's
absolutely.
not even a trailer, really, it was kind
I
of more
know,
of a
little teases.
teaser. It was a teaser. Yeah.
Yes, totally. Oh, well,
Yeah.
goodness. It was great to be back, and happy New Year, everybody.
Yes.
And thanks for Raimi for being in the background as the producer, and throwing out tips on silicone versus latex masks. And
Always
and,
helpful.
yes, always helpful. W where can they find you, Billy?
I'm at Billy Maddox on Instagram. Kate,
Sweet,
where are
sweet,
you?
yep, I'm at One Scavenger's Wardrobe, and you can find both of us for the podcast at Off the Rack Rebellion on Instagram. Thanks to the Dad Batch for being our hosts, bringing us into the family. And just remember that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away can be right here and right now.